Here is the RinseKit HyperHeater, and RinseKit claims that this can heat up water in only 30 seconds. So with me today, I have my RinseKit cube. We're going to connect these guys. I'm going to show you guys how to set them up, and I'm going to put that to the test and see if it can really heat up water in only 30 seconds. So let's get into it. So essentially, the HyperHeater is a propane heater that connects to your other RinseKit products like the RinseKit Pro or like this one, the RinseKit Cube. So there's no battery inside the HyperHeater itself. It requires either your RinseKit's battery or there is a wall plug for this as well. RinseKit pumps the water into the HyperHeater cycles the water over a flame, heating it up, and apparently this is much faster than using electricity to heat up water. The other RinseKit products say they take like 30 minutes to heat up water with the use of electricity, and they use a significant amount of power, where instead this uses propane as fuel to heat the water, which is a lot faster and doesn't require as much electricity. Obviously, this is meant to be used outdoors and not in an enclosed space because there are vents on either side to vent out the burnt propane. So for everything that's included, you actually do get this RinseKit HyperHeater duffel bag to carry this thing, and the HyperHeater actually fits inside of it very nice. But inside this bag, we have the hose, the shower nozzle, so you do get a different shower head when you buy the HyperHeater, the suction cup, the connector piece to connect propane to the HyperHeater, the cord to connect the HyperHeater to your RinseKit, and then lastly inside here there is just the wall plug if you want to connect this to an actual outlet. For the suction cup, you can use this to stick it to your car window, something like that. It also comes with this Velcro strap to hook it to basically anywhere. As for the front of the HyperHeater, we just have the temperature indicator, if the ignition is on, the automatic turn off power button, start button. Pretty simple display, but what I don't like is that these numbers just always show up right there. I don't really like that you always see these things. I feel like it's just gonna be a little bit harder to see when you actually turn this thing on. All of this stuff feels really nice. Like, this is basically, the entire exterior of this is metal. It feels good, aside from the dial on the very top, that's plastic. Everything else though it feels like good quality materials. It doesn't feel cheap at all. Same with the hose, feels nice. It's a braided hose, it feels good. The shower head is just made out of plastic, which it doesn't feel bad, but it is plastic. As for the safety shutoff, if you continually have this on and are continuously heating the water, there is a safety shutoff that will automatically trigger when the water reaches 106 degrees. There are ways to avoid that, which we're going to get through in a little while with this video, but keep that in mind. If you're going through and the water is continuously staying above 106 degrees, the automatic shutoff will turn off so you don't burn yourself from super hot water. As for the dimensions and weight with this thing, it's not super heavy, but it does weigh 20 pounds, and that's without any propane. And the dimensions of this are 12 inches by 12 inches by 10 inches. So that's about everything with the specs on this and everything that's included. Just also, you're gonna need a propane tank for fuel. So I've turned around the HyperHeater because I wanna go through the setup process with you guys. I have yet to even set this thing up, so we'll be going through it with my first-hand experience to see just how complicated it is. I've looked a little bit at the directions and it really doesn't seem like it's gonna be that complicated. So we'll see how that goes, but let's set this thing up. There is an instruction booklet to show you how to set everything up. Pretty straightforward, doesn't seem too bad, just numbered steps along the way. First thing is to connect the propane tank to the adapter. Step 2, attach the gas regulator to the heater. It's on there nice and snug. 3, connect the propane power cord to the power inlet, which I would assume is this right here. We're gonna connect it right there on the bottom. Alright, is that? It seems a little bit loose. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but that's just kind of what it feels like to me. We're then connecting the power cord to the RinseKit Cube. There we go. Almost done, there's not too many steps to this. We're removing the nozzle from the RinseKit. I've actually never even taken this thing off. Oh, Jesus, okay. Yep, got her. So what we're doing now is connecting the nozzle of the RinseKit into the top part of the HyperHeater. There, snaps in place. Snug that down, and that seems to be on there. Step 6, we're connecting now the included hose with the HyperHeater to the bottom outlet of the HyperHeater itself. There we go. Last up, we're just gonna connect the shower head to the HyperHeater hose. There we go. That's about it. So it does kind of look like a little bit of a mess back here, but that's because we just got a few hoses connecting each other right now. Something's just a little, looks like a little bit of a mess, but nothing too bad. All right, there you have it. Not too bad of a setup process. A few things that I should mention is that the length of the hose for the actual shower nozzle that is with the HyperHeater, it's about 6.5 feet long approximately. Another thing that I want to mention is that RinseKit says to disconnect the HyperHeater from your RinseKit when you're done, because even though the HyperHeater is powered off, it's still going to drain your RinseKit's battery. So when you're done, just unplug it and you're good. Okay, with all of that taken care of, let's test this and see how it works. All right, so we're gonna turn on the RinseKit. Whew. Oh, we got a little bit of a leak. Whoa, okay. Yep, thought that was loose. Okay, yep, that was completely user error. I did not have it clicked in all the way. I did not have the hose completely plugged into the HyperHeater itself, so water just spewed out. But let's try that again. Turn on the RinseKit. Okay, everything's going through. This is a little leak over here. All right, so yeah, it's worth noting to make sure everything is definitely snug, or else it might try to force some water out on you, like that just happened to me there twice. Okay, so now for the fun part. We're gonna test and see just how fast this thing heats up some water. We've got showers good to go, and so what we're gonna do is turn on the HyperHeater itself, and all right, it shows the temperature as 62 degrees right now. All right, there you go. So as you can see, it's like 62, 63 degrees or so. It's just kind of bouncing back and forth. If it looks kind of hard to tell on camera, that's also how it looks to me. So it is kind of weird just having the numbers always showing up, but that green illuminates with whatever temperature it is. You can also see that on the RinseKit cube itself says about the same temperature, so must be fairly accurate if these are both the same. So we've got the HyperHeater on. We're gonna press the start button to heat it up and turn the hose on, and we'll time and see how long it takes to get hot. Here we go. Start. HyperHeater turned on. Oh yeah, you can tell the flame started. 65, 66. It's getting warmer, that's for sure. 71, it's been about 50, oh yeah, it's getting, the water's definitely heating up. 18, 19, 20 seconds. We're sitting at about 75 degrees, 25 seconds. It's definitely warm water. All right, 30 seconds, not quite hot, but it's warm. I'm gonna turn this off and see what happens. So the heat turned off as well. So the water got warm. It didn't go up to like that 100 degrees or so. It kind of started sitting around like 78 degrees about. But as soon as you turn the water on, you can literally hear the flame turn on inside, and it starts heating up water right away. So RinseKit says to continuously run water through this, as in always have the shower going when you're heating the water. But that wastes fuel, and it also wastes water, which we don't want to happen. But what you can do is create a continuous cycle where this thing continuously heats the water, pumps it back in the cube, and continuously heats that water again to have a consistent temperature of water inside the cube. So in order to do that, we're gonna turn the cube off. All right, open up the cube, or your RinseKit Pro, you can do that with that as well. We're going to disconnect the actual shower head itself, put this hose back inside of the cube. So now what we'll do is turn on the HyperHeater and turn on the cube so it heats the water and pumps it back inside the cube to store hot water inside here. So I realized what I was doing wrong and why the water wasn't heating up over about 80 degrees. I forgot to turn the temperature dial up, so I want to go through that with you guys right now. So on the top of the HyperHeater here, you have the temperature dial that just moves smoothly from low to high. So we're gonna turn this on high and see how much faster the temperature goes up this time. All right, here we go, pumping the water back into the cube. Let's turn on the RinseKit cube, turn on the heater. The flame's on. It's worth noting we're at 80 degrees. Oh yeah, it's going up a lot faster. 90 degrees, 95 degrees. It's been 15 seconds. Oh yeah, there's definitely hot water in there. 100 degrees, and it's been 27 seconds. 101, 102. All right, at 30 seconds, we got to about 104 degrees. Oh yeah, there's definitely hot water in there, that's for sure. It's getting up there, 118 degrees right now. The water inside the RinseKit cube itself is at about 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So like I said, this is heating up water. You can see the little flame. You can see the flame there that's telling you that the gas is on, the ignition is on. Temperature's still rising at 124 degrees. And then inside the cube, you can see the water now is about 97 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're getting hot water inside the cube. This is working very well. And it looks like the auto shutoff just turned on. You guys can see that blinking. So that means it's turned off the heat, and because it's getting too hot. There, now that the water temperature went back down, the hyperheater turned back on again. So that's the auto turn off, auto turn on. Works pretty well. All right, there we go. That worked out pretty well. Not bad. We're just gonna unplug hyperheater. We can take this out of the cube. All right, everyone, there you have it. That was heating up water, and it definitely worked in no time. You can tell that there's definitely some heat coming off the heater itself along these vents here, and the cube, it's got some hot water inside of it. I don't want to take this stuff apart and see how hot the water is inside the cube. We're gonna turn the cube back on. Oh yeah, there's nice warm water inside this. I don't know if you guys can see it steaming at all. Yeah, I mean, that would be very, very nice for a shower. That's pretty sweet. That's awesome. So the main reason that I pump the water back inside the cube, like I said, is to save propane with this and also to save water. So rather than just having to run water inside the hyperheater and then shower straight through the hyperheater, you just heat the water up inside the cube, get that to a good temperature, and then you can use the cube to shower off. It saves water, it saves propane, and keeps it just a more consistent temperature of water for you to shower with or do your dishes, whatever you want to. I would also say that this is definitely easy to use. It was a little chaotic for me for a second there, and that's just because I've never used this. That was the very first time I've ever used this, so I made the mistake of keeping this on the low temperature and not turning it up to high. Once we turned it up to high, it definitely worked significantly faster and heated up the water to like 100 degrees or so within that 30 seconds, which is awesome. Definitely heats up water fast, and it was very easy to use. I think once you set this up one time, it'll be very easy to set up every other time after that. One thing to keep in mind is that if you're using a RinseKit cube, you're only gonna have about 7 to 9.5 minutes of water for showering. If you're using the RinseKit Pro, which has a little bit less water inside of it, you're only gonna have about 5 to 7.5 minutes of water for showering. So as for my thoughts on this system, well, I take a lot of road trips to national parks and national forests where I'm driving across the country and going camping and backpacking. If you've ever done that, you know that you can go several days without showering. I have gone over a week on road trips without showering. During my Gila National Forest trip, I did not shower that entire trip. And that's why this system would be awesome. I can just suction cup the shower head to my car and take an outdoor shower right then and there with hot water thanks to the hyperheater. Additionally, this would be awesome for doing dishes while you're camping. Rather than having to wait for water to heat up on my propane stove, I can just use this hyperheater to heat up water in literally 30 seconds and get straight to doing dishes. So what is the total cost of this system? Well, it is a good amount of money. The total cost of the hyperheater and all of the stuff that I showed you that comes with it is $380. But as of April 9th, when I was scripting this video, it was on sale for $300, so you can save yourself 80 bucks. In addition, you will need to separately purchase a RinseKit Cube or a RinseKit Pro in order to work with this thing. They do have some bundle deals where you can get the RinseKit Pro and the hyperheater together at a little bit of a discounted price. So as for some downsides, for me personally, this is a bit large. When I go on road trips with my girlfriend across the entire United States where we're camping and backpacking, we are limited to what we can fit inside of the car. And if there's something that we don't need, it's not going to come with. Between the cooler, the tent, sleeping pad, sleeping bag, all of the stuff that goes with camping, your pots and pans, cooking gear, all of this stuff, it adds up a lot of space. And this thing is going to take up a decent amount of room inside the back of a Subaru Outback. This might absolutely max out the space inside our car, and since it's not essential, I can't say this is necessarily going to come with us. But I'm willing to give this a shot because I would love to be able to shower whenever and wherever and have the convenience of this thing. And that's exactly what this is. It is a convenient luxury item. Like I said in my other RinseKit video, these are luxury products because you don't need a battery-powered portable shower. You don't need a portable hyperheater to heat up the water in 30 seconds. Like this entire system right here, if you were to buy these two things separately and at full price, is $770, which is a significant amount of money. So if you don't see yourself using this a lot or taking it with you on pretty much every single camping trip, or don't really have the space inside of your car to bring this with you, then it might not be for you. However, if you see the value in this system and you would bring it with you on most of your camping trips, if you have the room in your car to bring it with, and you would like to have the convenience of having a hot shower in just 30 seconds, then this thing would be great. It's an absolutely awesome system and works super well. If you guys are interested in picking this thing up, there are links in the description of this video that'll take you straight to these items. So that's about everything for this video. Thank you to RinseKit for sending me these products and giving me the opportunity to show you guys how they work and test how they perform and give my thoughts on this. If there's anything that I missed, please let me know down in the comment section below. I'd love to go through those things. Maybe I went over to some things too quickly or took too much time on. If you guys have any questions, just let me know down in the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. For a propane flame to heat the water. Sirens. The joys of living in Milwaukee. Sirens going off every hour.